Councilor Manzer. Here. Councilor Scheer. Here. Councilor Ross. Here. Deputy Warden Ross.
Here.
Taylor Robinson, Executive Assistant. Cora Lee, Manager of is it Corporate Service?
Director of Finance.
Finance Services, because I know it's changing.
Yeah.
That's why I was pausing there.
Yeah.
And Tyler Pulley, our CAO, myself, Linda, the board. Since we are all here, I'm going to ask us all to pause to seek guidance. Okay, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, does someone have approval of the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. We have a presentation from the Westport Recreation Auxiliary. Could I have someone move for them to come forward?
A motion to approve the Westport Recreation Auxiliary present.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Good day, Ms. Tudor. Are you the only one presenting?
Yes, I'll be the only one speaking. Do you mind if I stand? I'm so much more comfortable speaking.
It's fine with us.
Thank you, Connie. I think I'm loud enough that I can project.
So is Ms. McDormand part of your recreation?
Yes, she is, absolutely.
And I don't know who you are.
I'm her daughter. I'm Brenda Tudor.
That's my baby girl, Brenda Tudor.
Oh,
You may regret making me.
well, we want it just for the minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, go right ahead, Amy.
Well, greetings to everyone. I know most of you through different positions in the community, and some of you, I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Amy Tudor, and I live on beautiful Briar Island. I am here today representing the Westport Recreation Auxiliary. In our ask of your support, both through letters of support and through applications for grants to support the multi-purpose court project that has been worked on for almost 10 years now. The Westport Recreation Auxiliary is a group of 6 to 8 community members from all walks of life who have, over the past at least 12 years, hosted countless events, community-based events that were fundraisers for large community goals for the social and recreational benefit of our community. In my 10 years with this committee, we have saved enough money that we finally are ready to pursue our long-term goal of the installation of a multi-purpose court on Briar Island. I'm sure many of you are aware where Briar Island is. I don't need to go extend into the demographics. We are an isolated community, and right now there are no outdoor community recreation facilities. And we do have limited use of our indoor facilities because of heating and the costs associated with running community buildings. We have been working tirelessly to create this court for the health and wellness of our children in our community. This court will not only help serve the municipal's recreational strategies of health and wellness by giving our children a place to be active, it will also aid their mental wellness by building a sense of community and togetherness. Right now, we do see a divide where some of our younger kids do not get the opportunity to socialize in recreational activities because the recreational area is over in Freeport. So I personally see this. My youngest child is a little too young to venture on his own, and my older son is a little too old to hang out with his younger brother. So we see a breakdown, and the younger children are not necessarily coming together with the older children because they are forced to go to another community to have this recreational facility. Our end goal is to have this multi-purpose year-round this court, outside court, that could be flooded to offer skating in the winter, basketball, pickleball, volleyball in outside months, as well will serve as a gathering place for, if someone wants to have a community event, it will serve as a place for that. We have secured enough capital investment through our years of fundraising for a $10,000 investment from our auxiliary. We have met with both Peter and Jill Balser, and we will be pursuing an $8,000 grant through the Community Nova Scotia Foundation. We will be pursuing grants through the Canada Post Corporation, as well as an independent foundation recently established on Briar Island called the Briar Island Foundation. However, money and support from our municipal council is vital to give us what we need, not just for the beginning of the infrastructure, but for all of the added maintenance and insurances that come with holding a recreational facility. We have a commitment from our village for the guaranteed use of 1 acre of land for the facility. The court is expected to be 50 by 70 feet outdoor, concrete or asphalt surface with protective nettings. And in phase 2, we would be looking at a parking facility. So that is the long and short of who we are, how we did it, and what we'd like your help with. And I would absolutely love questions.
Does anyone got any questions? I'll start with you, Deputy Warden.
What is the total cost for it?
Right now, we're estimating upwards of $48,000 to $53,000, and that is for the creation of the facility. Our auxiliary would continue our regular social / fundraising events to continue to cover things like the insurances and carrying costs. Mm-hmm. So that number of 43 to 48 is for the initial infrastructure. Correct.
Yeah. And your operational costs, you figure?
Insurance would be basically our only operational cost at this point. Right now, we pay approximately $900 a year for the insurance of a small community park, which we did successfully fundraise, install, and maintain. Now, I think this is year 4 that we've had the park. May I defer to Crystal for a moment? Yeah, so this taking on an infrastructure project is not something that's new to our group. One of our previous goals, it was a 2-phase to start with a park and playground. We're now moving from a small park to a multi-purpose court because we feel it would be better suit all generations. It's not just something for the kids, it'd be something for all generations. So we were carrying $900 insurance. We would be expected about $1,800 a year in an insurance premium. And we definitely have proven precedent that we can raise more than $1,800 in a year through our fundraising efforts.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any questions? George?
It's going to be all fenced in.
That is correct. One of the goals is to have it. We don't have an exact height yet, but our estimates are now between a 4 to a 12-foot fence. The fencing increases the cost of the asset, which would then increase the cost of the insurance. So it's a battle between what we have to meet with insurances and find out before we do commit to the fencing. That fencing would be in a second stage. The first stage is to get that court, the slab, whether it be concrete or asphalt, down first. So we have phases planned because a lot of these grants that we are working and applying for, as you are aware, have time limits. So we're breaking it up in phases to match time and budgets and what each different grant covers.
So would it be like a locked facility,
Similar, if anyone has ever visited, yes, similar to something like they have in the Freeport already. They have the sliding gates where you can have a small padlock where you could use a dial combination. So yes, there would be some security with securing the building or securing the court.
Anyone else want a question?
Yep. I was thinking you could give us a little overview of what are the sports and uses of the court that you're planning.
Well, I'll tell you right now, number one is basketball. As our community, our children are very kind of bulked in ages, and our first desire was a playground. But now the children who we started for there, and now they want a basketball court. There's a very small concrete pad located on someone's private property on the islands, awaiting the next to be a shed someday. And next to that concrete pad is one of your, just roll in, roll out basketball hoops. And that must be the busiest place on the island when the sun shines. So we definitely have proven that these kids will come together. So one, we'd love to have basketball. Our community already owns pickleball equipment that we have for indoor use at a hall. We have the poles and the infrastructure required for a badminton or a volleyball net already, professional equipment from the Gopher brand sports company. And we would be buying the type of kits that you could lay into the court in the winter to flood for skating. So those would be the recreational purposes that we already got the equipment for that we'd like to find a place to use. But we'd also see that being used as a gathering spot for a community event. We do hold Old Home Weekend, Easter things. So this, again, would be a home base for community events as well as sporting equipment and recreation.
I have a question. How many children?
Right now, under the age of 18, we have approximately 30 children under the age of 18. And there are a lot in Freeport. I believe we're looking at 40 in the Long Island community. Our whole entire school age population right now. I now am the administrative assistant at the Islands Consolidated School, so I know we're at 126 children from pre-primary to grade 12 on Long Island, Freeport, and a few do come Freeport, Briar Island, and a few from the Neck who join our school community. So I'm very in touch in what the kids want and need, as they tell me daily at the front desk.
And my next question is, have you been to recreation? Because I know there's grants at Recreation Nova Scotia.
Yes, Christina Enrich, who has recently joined our island community. If there's a grant available, she's applied for it.
I mean, have you gone to see our recreation director?
No, as far as I'm aware, there has not been a sit-down meeting with the Digby Area Recreation Committee.
Anybody else have questions? Joe?
Is there a capability to have more than one court set up, like to go cross court or whatever, so you could potentially have two things going on at the same time?
No, the space that we have and the way that the land slopes, we originally were hoping for a 56 by 94 space, but when we laid that down and saw how the land slopes, the cost, and to maintain what we were looking for, we knew was not feasible. So we sadly had to already kind of downsize slightly, but what our dreams were, which is perfectly okay because those things happen. So sadly, I wish, but the land layout is just not allowed for that.
Any other questions? Well, I want to say thank you very much, but before you leave, I believe that I'd like to have someone stand up, and her name is Crystal McDormand. And the reason I'm asking Crystal to stand up, she received the King Charles Medal that we were at the ceremony, and we want to say congratulations. It was wonderful to see you receive it and all your hard work as a volunteer, and I want to say congratulations on behalf of our whole council. Thank you so much. Not that I was downplaying you.
No, she's one of my idols. I'm telling you, if I can continue in the path that she set for our community, I will be a happy lady.
I was so impressed. I mean, great recipients there. Of course, I knew Crystal, and trying to get near Crystal was like trying to get near the Queen here. There's a lot of people surrounding her, but I just wanted to let to let you know how much. We do not make any decisions tonight. from
Absolutely.
this. It will be put on another agenda, be discussed, and possibly go into our budget planning. I can't answer what will happen.
Oh, absolutely.
And and feel free if you want to stay for our whole meeting.
I think I have my capability of meetings this week. I'm at meeting max already.
That's okay. I mean, I just thought I'd offer just in case.
May I ask
Oh.
just one thing? Are we ready to make an ask, even though we don't make a decision today? Is there anything specific that you would like from us?
I would assume they would have filled out the form.
Yes, Christina will be presenting the formal grant application for the max of 15,000. We fully are aware that things, the max is the dream. We like to dream, but we just appreciate you guys taking the time to read our applications. Very much appreciate.
And you do know that there is a deadline.
Yes.
Okay.
We are very digitally working with. There is one other party that we are working with right now to expedite the process. So yes, I will take that warning back to the.
It's not a warning. It's just.
So yes, I have no formal official ask of the committee today.
Oh, I thought you were asking for our letters of support.
Yes, letters of support, but there will be a grant to follow, and we're here to show that we are committed. We're not just sending a letter. We will drive and take 2 ferries to get here to show how much this project does mean to us and our community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We're
Thank
going
you.
to make our way. Thank you very much, guys. Good place to see everybody.
You can always say.
If it was just me and I didn't have my 18-year-old daughter who would probably go nuts, I would probably sit through all the formalities.
See you later.
I hate to tell you, she looks exactly like the tutors.
Yeah.
There's no saying who she is.
So, but Linda's known me since I was right like this. So,
Yeah.
Since I was a tiny baby. All right. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
So the next is our minutes of February the 12th, 2025. Is there any errors or omissions in those minutes?
All motion to approve the minutes of February 11th, 2025.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Under our CAO updates, on March 18th, that's next week, there's no meeting. On March 25th, there is a council meeting. Remember, on April the 1st, that starts at 3 p.m., and that's our first start. It's bylaw policy, but it's the beginning of our budget processes. On April the 8th at 5, we have Committee of the Whole. On April the 25th, we have the Audit Committee. On April the 22nd at 5, we have Council. On April the 15th, I will be calling into that meeting, so if you would run the meeting, that would be appreciated. Okay. On April the 29th, there is no meeting. And it's the first time in a long time you're actually going to miss my anniversary that I'm sitting here with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, only 50 years.
50.
50
We're young.
years. I married before I was born. What can I say?
Taking you somewhere nice.
Yeah. You know where our honeymoon was? It was up at the Old Orchard Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it snowed.
It's there, yeah.
We had a snowstorm on our wedding day. Now, our CAO update, coastal protection, there's no update. Fire services review, council received the Digby Fire Services inventory report and presentation by Bruce on March the 4th. Council made an extension to extend the fire services coordinator role for 1 more year. Under our strategic plan, it took place on February 20th and 21st. It was a successful session, and staff are currently working on those documents for council to review. The equity and anti-racism plan was presented to council on March 4th. Thank you, Taylor. The accessibility meeting of the Accessibility Committee has been scheduled for March 13th, and work will commence on updating our accessibility plan. King's Transit, there is no update. There was many different things the COO has done. And is there any questions on the CAO update? Is there any questions on the departmental reports, which was the Director of Finance, the Building Departments, the Airport Dispatch, Renewable Energy and Climate Change Coordinator, and the Trails Coordinator? If not, could I have approval of the department reports, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the department report.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. There is nothing under dangerous and unsightly. So our business items, the capital budget draft 2.
Okay, so you saw this in the package.
Yes.
Corley had incorporated some of those dark updates that we had told you about during draft 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe there might be only one additional change, but I'll let Corley go over that.
Go ahead, please.
So yeah, that's what we had kind of discussed until your meeting with Dirk earlier today. So I do have a few things. So since this went in the package, actually, this draft wouldn't have changed other than in year 1 there was a pump for Bear River, a replacement pump, and it had been originally budgeted for $25,000, and that is now $33,500. We had Barry looking into, and it took a while to get the estimates back. And so, secondly, Tyler did have a meeting this afternoon with our dark manager and the CIO from the town, and she did present another capital plan and talk to them about that today. So Tyler did give me this late in the day today, so I just wanted to outline. You're not going to see this in your package, but I might as well tell you what the changes are just so that you know where we're at. Year 1, there was 2 changes. So the condenser that was originally estimated for $250,000, she brought that down to $210,000. The ice plant electrical panel, we had it at $30,000 last time. That came down to $24,000. So that makes our contributions $238,100 for year 1. Year 2, she made one change. The pump motor, the brine pump motor for the arena. I don't believe she had a cost in there the last time, so our estimate was minus anything for that. So I added the $20,000 in, which increased our contribution only by $10,000, where we have to pay half. So year 2, the full bill for the municipality Digby will be $938,500. Year 3, there was no changes made. Year 4, the accessible washrooms, we had them at $75,000, and she changed it to $80,000. So our contributions for that year changed to $40,000. And year 5, the only thing that we were waiting on year 5, I don't know if she talked about this today, was the elevator, Tyler, that still has no number.
Never talked about it.
Tyler and I had just put a placeholder in, and that's what you'll see in your draft. But as of right now, she doesn't have a number for that yet. So we just have the truck for year 5 and an estimate on me and Tyler's behalf, I guess. So other than that, there's no other further changes. Other than a few dark things, I don't really foresee too much.
No, and just a reminder, Dark's going to be applying for grants, so the rink revitalization grant, accessibility grants for some of that accessibility work. So we won't know how much of the cost will truly be ours until those grants come out. George.
Oh, sorry, George. When you were going through that, you said there was nothing for year 3 then.
No changes since you've seen it
Oh,
last.
no changes.
Yes.
I was thinking there was nothing being allotted, and I was just going to say.
No, what you have on your computer that was circulated is what it will be for the year 3. No changes. Yeah.
Any other questions?
But I guess you just can't tell the future, but are we prepared, like if something does come up, if we do want to change it to a non-ammonia system? I guess we just don't know the numbers. I guess we can't put them in there, but is there a way? I guess I'm getting
It would still be
I'm getting too far ahead of the
yeah,
game.
but it would still be very similar. You know,
Yeah,
the money will be that much money there.
yeah. Okay.
That's how I'm looking at it anyway.
I'm hoping. Until you get costs, I guess I'm getting too far ahead of it. So.
I think Dark plans to meet and go over this as well before our final budget. So if you guys do have a discussion, then
Yeah, we have a meeting next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
You'll be there. You're going to the walkthrough too, right? The walkthrough at 1?
Yeah, I can't be there.
Okay, I'll be there. So I want to ask a lot of questions to Simcoe's. Cool.
Yeah, 12 o'clock would work, but not 1.
It didn't work for me, but I made it work. I just somebody's got to be there. Like you gotta ask.
I'm instructing. I can't.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Okay, the next is the provincial road winter maintenance standards. Deputy Warden.
Road maintenance standards.
So this was the one where you were questioning the secondary roads and what standards they have as far as like timelines when they're plowed.
Yeah, I wanted to see if there was any appetite of writing to the. We haven't heard back from the minister from the first letter, have we?
Yeah.
I do want to send another letter. We got a lot of complaints this year about, and we have been for a while, about the 24 and 72 hour check-in times with some of these places. I get a lot of calls. People, I understand, you know, you only have so many plows, you only have so much manpower, but at the same time, residents are worried. Ambulances can't get in, fire trucks. Not everybody has a 4-wheel drive truck.
I had a call the other day when people couldn't get out, couldn't get out in my area.
Mm-hmm.
And the person called. They said, I have a sick person here, and if I need the ambulance, well, they said then we'll plow ahead of the ambulance. So she said, you got to take a plow from somewheres to bring it here. That takes time when I need an ambulance.
Yeah.
So she called me because she didn't feel that was an adequate response.
Again, you have 2 plows. One's down in Freeport, and the other one's in Smiths over Bear River, and the heart attacks in Weymouth. Again, it goes back to we need funding that here, and I just think if we had the funding and the machinery and the manpower, we get rid of these 72-hour wait times. I mean,
and it's 72 hours after
the storm
stops. And people are thinking it's from when it began.
Yeah.
And that's where one of the biggest problems is.
But I've been timing some of that, and some of the roads never.
Oh,
It
they're
was
not
way over 72 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and they still didn't get
Mm-hmm.
salted or dirt. And
You're gonna wait that long, it gets packed down as ice.
it gets worse and worse and worse, and they're not getting to it.
It just gets packed down.
As I have to say, I went down the road the other night because I got a call. Someone was ill and they asked me if I'd come down because our hospital was closed. So I went down and took a blood pressure and did a couple little things. I did not, I said, this is what you need to call, blah, blah, blah. Here's what these are your vitals that you need to say. But like I said, when I got to the end, there's a big sign, road closed.
Mm-hmm.
No notice, and people use that road every day. Every day.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to get some calls from some of the people that are using it now, but sometimes if they're calling my cell and it doesn't pick up.
I had one guy call from the Lewiston Road call and said like he hadn't been to work for 2 days because he's only got a 2-wheel drive vehicle. Roads are icy. Hey, it doesn't work, he doesn't get paid.
And you know what? I had someone ask me the same question. They lost 2 days of work that they don't get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Are they allowed to send their lost hours to the department? Because they said, that keeps me from eating. Because I still have to pay the other bills.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 days of work is 2 days of work.
Yeah. You just getting by as it is, 2 days.
That's big.
Big chunk.
Yeah. That's 2/3.
So I'd like to make a motion that we write a letter to the Minister of Transportation and CCMLA, Joe Balzer, that we'd like to see the times, the 72 hours.
The maintenance standards are
Maintenance
not.
standards be better and have a time frame of 24 hours. I can't, and they're going to have to come up with a budget to cover that 24 hour. After the storm, I get that, but 24 hours, we should have enough to get everybody plowed out.
Like set the record for the longest motion. You get all that.
Sorry, I.
So I was just going to go over it. So you're still moving that we write a letter to the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure over the winter maintenance standards being too long for plowing. And we're CCing our MLA. And should we send a copy to Tony Harvey? Or is that no?
I think Tony understands. It's just he needs that budget. He needs
money.
I don't know if I want to CC it on
Okay,
that.
no.
I can certainly provide him with a copy.
Well, I just think it would be nice if we could. So just CC our MLA. So is there a seconder to that motion?
Can I ask to clarify the motion?
Certainly.
Yeah. Are we requiring a change of standard, or that they respect the current standard?
change the standard.
Change standard.
Change the standard. So it's
72 to 24 hour.
Like change it, to be less than 72.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any further questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried.
Thank you.
The next is the Bowl for Kids' Sake event, team registration.
Okay, so this one, Will McCormick, counselor for the town of Digby, reached out to us to see if we were interested in putting in like a joint town municipal bowling team for this event. So our executive assistant sent an email to our council and staff to see if there's any interest in participating. And it's for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Annapolis Valley Bowl for Kids' Sake. So she did, and apparently we have a lot of people who really like bowling. The response was quite overwhelming. So we actually had 4 counselors out of the 5 indicate interest, and we had 6 members of our administration team, and we also had 2 or 3 dispatchers, I believe.
So why can't we have 2 teams?
So exactly. So what we're proposing is that we if you want to, we register 2 teams. Maybe you could even have 1 for staff. Taylor could determine which 6 staff. We somehow determined that.
Councilors against the staff?
Maybe 1 for counselors, and also if there's only 4 counselors, we could say to Will, there's teams can be 6 people. We have 2 spots free if 2 of you want to join.
Okay, but I thought we had more than 6 for staff.
We do.
So why can't 2 staff come over?
Oh, if they were comfortable doing that, sure.
Yeah.
We could put that.
Tell them we won't bite.
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
And who knows? It might be in their best interest.
So if you guys want to, what I'd be looking for is just a motion that we register up to 2 teams and then pay the fees of $500 each for the teams we do.
Now, do we do fundraising as well?
I think you can.
I think you can. Yeah.
If you choose, yeah. This is just the registration fee that we'd be covering, but I think you fundraise in
I
addition
think
to
you
that.
come up with a team name and register it online. People can donate.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's going to be easy. We'll be the perfect group.
There you go. Right on.
Or who knows? We'll come up with. So can I ask you the 4 counselors? I know I'm one. You are.
Linda,
I
Matt,
said,
you're Bill.
And Peter.
I didn't respond to that, but if you need somebody, I will. But you've already got a couple extra from me. But
We're
if,
gonna have to
if
start
you're
putting on
short,
bowling events, I think.
if you're short,
Okay.
But I mean, I think, I'd like to see all 6 and 6 if we can.
Okay.
And even if, I don't mind being the spare. Like they may want 5 and 6 as a spare or whatever they are doing. I'm a rotten bowler, but I can have a 30-some, or I can have 100, and no one knows how I do it because I don't either. I'm good, bad, tired.
also the scorekeeper can help that too.
I'm usually good at that. Okay, so can someone make that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we register 2 teams and pay the fees of $500 apiece.
And is there a seconder?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is the Cologne Historical Cemetery. There is a cemetery that actually is the beginning ancestors in a piece of property that's going up for taxes. And the community actually would like to see this property so that they could maintain it. And we were actually looking at ways we could do this. And can I get you to talk a little bit, Tyler?
Sure. There's obviously, as council probably knows, there's some normal ways we can take over property. We can expropriate property for a public purpose. What makes this property unique is that it's a cemetery, so there is legislation that deals with cemeteries that makes it a bit more unique. And I'm going to talk to, assuming you guys give me the direction to, I'm going to talk to Rob Hersey, who has some experience on our staff and with cemeteries as our heritage coordinator. It also is unique that it's going up to tax sale, so I'll have to talk to our tax administrator and Corley to see if that makes it easier or more difficult given the tax sale situation for us. I believe we do have some methods of obtaining a tax sale property as far as making bids and things like that. So tonight I would just be looking for if we are interested in somehow obtaining this property or we want just to look into it. I'm just looking for staff direction to do that.
I would love to see, I'll be honest, the whole community would like it. It's I've forgotten how many graves that are in there, but the person that now owns the property would not allow any community people to go in to the cemetery. And it's a mess right now. And it's a sin because it is a heritage property. It's the first settlers that are there in that property.
How big a lot is the whole
It
thing?
would be.
Not just the cemetery, but the whole piece.
Oh no, we only want the cemetery.
No, but how big is the property that's going up for taxing?
I think it's about 10 acres.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the water.
Yeah, but this would be about 1 acre, and it's at the front. It's rated. It's at the front.
We'd have to get like divided offers.
Well, it's just, but it's at the front.
No, but surveyed or.
I don't know how that works for the one. I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be very hard.
Yeah, if we were going to expropriate it or yes, we would absolutely have.
But it's like you step off the road. Here's the cemetery. It's like.
No, it was privately owned.
No, the property. Well, yes and no. It belonged originally to the.
The church.
Clinton. I can't think of Clinton's last name. That family, and it was always public.
Mm-hmm.
But then it got sold years ago when the people died and taxes weren't paid. It went sold. The 2 pieces got sold to different people from away.
I'm not against it. I know it's cemetery. It's just. Is that something that Heritage is going to be looking at? Churches and stuff?
This is a heritage one. It's one that it was maintained before by the people.
Yeah.
And the people want to maintain it again. They want to be able to fix it up and, so you can be respectful to the families.
Whereabouts in Cologne?
Do you know where, you might not even know this. It was what we called the Old Mountain Schoolhouse. And it would have been next to the Old Mountain Schoolhouse. That's where the property is. As you go down the road past my house, now stay on the right-hand side. So across the road is my son's. The next place is the Jordans. Well, there's a driveway up, just a little ways up, and you go in that driveway and it's right there. You can't see it because everything's a mess.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say I've never noticed it when we've been back and forth. But
because.
So there would be somebody willing to take over, looking after it, and charge it.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, there's people, you know,
And the proposal is that we would take over the property, like,
and then it would be like, sort of like the lighthouses. You
Well-
take over the property, and then I maintain it, and I just can't sell it, or I can't.
And just to clarify, like there would be there's no proposal yet. It would just be that our staff research it and let you guys know what the options are and what we can do. And to be clear too, like there is legislation in place that the private property owner has to allow access to the cemetery, but it's very difficult when you have a certain like you have a piece of paper that says, hey, I'm technically allowed to be here. It's hard depending on the owner, which has obviously been difficult in recent years, and it's hard to actually get the access. So technically, the community does have access to it legally. It's just hard to enforce that.
I'll look into it. I just, don't want to start, then we have to figure out what other cemeteries around are going to do too, because there's a lot of them on the neck.
No, they're already being maintained or taken care of by.
No, I know, but you know what I mean for future wise. If somebody took over that property with that cemetery and the same thing, people started getting blocked. And
Well, that's why if we take that piece of property, that's why I would like it looked into, and I'd like to.
no problem.
and the remaining, so it's a 10-acre property, and we are discussing the 1 acre. Yeah, and what about the remaining 9 acres? Are they part
That's
of the cemetery?
as far as I know, that's.
Well, that depends too, because it depends what route we take. Because we went the tax sale route, we might have to. It might involve the whole property, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I want to research, just to see what these options would lead us to.
Yeah, I'm not against the principle. Conservation of heritage is important. I'm curious to see what the actual proposal is.
So do we
Yeah, no,
need,
I
do
don't
we
need a
need,
motion, no, just
okay,
staff directions.
all right, thank you, I really appreciate it. I mean, I'll be honest, I've had one person approach me and said that if they had to, they put in a bid for the property that they don't want to get the cemetery. And then sell the rest, but yeah, I don't think that was the best.
It's not a private property that you have to go in to get to it.
Well, no, I can walk off the road, it's just a few feet up. It's on the left-hand side. I got my foot caught in the grave when I was a kid. And I thought someone was trying to pull me into the grave.
How do you know?
My foot, well, what I figure happened, I got caught on a root. And I asked my brothers to help pull me out because my foot went down through. And they looked, and then I'm screaming because I can't get it out. I said, there's someone grabbing me. And they all ran with me. Had nightmares for a long time.
Never to return.
I finally got out, but I mean, it's funny what you'll remember as a kid. I still remember that and seeing there was a great big tree, and that's what we were doing. We were climbing up the tree and getting the apples and stuff.
Yep.
So it was probably an apple root, but when you're a little kid, all you can think about is someone's holding you down. Now, under correspondence information items, the Industrial Inquiry Commission reviewing Canada Post, and the thank you from the Emerald Digby Museum. Does anyone have any comments or questions on either?
I don't know how we do it, but I kind of think we should write to Canada Post or wherever to. I do not like community boxes. They're not maintained. They put them in places where cars get stuck. People do not like them. I think they need to have our backing because it would be all right if the government would work with them, but they're not going to come to the province and say, can you pave in front of here? Like all the community boxes in my community are either on a dirt road with a sinkhole or the pavement's so beat up, no people trip and fall. I don't even know how Canada Post hasn't got sued yet. I just believe that we got to keep the door-to-door mail.
These people we've got.
Because these community boxes are horrible. Like they're just not maintained, and I think it's a horrible idea. I think we need to write to them to support that.
And in some of the areas, many of your seniors can't get out to the community boxes.
And if they could,
anyway.
they're not going to get to it anyway. Because your car's going to lose a tire or they'll sink
They
a
haven't
hole.
got cars.
So then we're going to make a motion to send a letter of support. Is that,
Well, I was reading this, and I would say
or,
I think he's talking about almost it would be a separate letter. You're just talking about sending a letter to Canada Post on that one issue, right?
well, they said they need with this section 108. There's a possibility that's where this is going, and their
Yeah.
new agreement. They need help with this,
I
and
don't
you
know.
need to speak up and say your new agreement cannot have community boxes. This is it. So
Because on that one particular issue, sure, but like general support, I don't think we have the background information we would need to.
no,
There's a lot
but I meant,
Yeah, I think the thing is it's not clear yet. There is some restructuring coming up. They're concerned with some of the
talks are happening now.
restructuring, but we don't know what it's going to be, right? So maybe what we can do is define a few of the items that we think, well, whatever you do, don't get rid of the door-to-door, some other features of the service currently that we don't want to see
so
go.
it's, so it's a letter stating we disagree with 108 happening if it's gonna take away more than what we already have.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so are you moving that?
I'll motion. Yeah.
And is someone else seconding?
Second.
Peter? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Committee reports. So, I guess we're gonna start off with, oh my gosh, should be my paper. Okay, Digby Source Water Protection Advisory Committee. Any? Yep. Nothing?
They haven't met yet.
Okay. Fences and arbitration Committee.
It's a hard
Peter.
committee where so much happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the Heritage Advisory Committee?
We last met January 22nd, so we haven't had another meeting yet.
Okay. Regional Emergency Management Advisory Committee, Gregory and Ross. We met.
We haven't met since the last one.
Yeah, that's right. Then is the Planning Advisory Committee.
We haven't met since the last one.
Right. The Joint RCMP Advisory Committee.
Haven't met since the last one.
Though,
They're coming though.
just to let everyone know, Tammy Fitzgerald, it was at the end of her, and then we've already put out a.
Allison too.
Oh, both. Okay, so, and I've already had a couple of calls that I've directed to the office because they wanted me to tell them a lot of stuff, and I wanted to.
Are we getting any applications in for those other things that we advertised for?
The jobs.
No, in the fair shop, there was some of the advisory boards.
Some, but not as much as we hope for. I'm trying to push the deadline, so it's March 19th if you want to share with anybody.
Okay, we can. The next is the marketing levy and promotion.
I haven't heard of any meetings.
Either. The Digby Art Bank jury.
Yeah, we met a couple weeks ago. We had maybe 20 submissions or 15, 20. We narrowed it down to 5 or 6. And today they made their selections and they purchased for it, which are in that first meeting room. If you come through, you want to check them out.
So how many have you bought?
4, they purchased 4.
Purchased 4.
I think they had a bid budget of $2,500.
Yeah.
So they were able to purchase 4.
Oh, that's nice. And they're already in there.
Yeah, they're in there now.
All right, and the next, I just lost it again.
Accessibility advisory.
We're meeting on March 13th. The Highway 101 Task Force is not active. The Digby County Health Authority has not met, and I'm trying to find out if we're going to meet and what's going on because the last chair did not feel there was need of meetings, and they are now gone. So.
Okay. Yeah.
The Atlantic Mayors Congress, I just know that the next meeting is going to be in St. John, but we have not heard yet when. It's supposed to be a spring meetings. The Digby Area Recreation.
Well, yeah, we're going over capital projects right now, and as you know, the rink had to shut down early because of a main ammonia leak to the condenser. This will need to be replaced before startup in September. The dark board is asked to do a facility walkthrough, which I mentioned tonight we will be doing next week at 1 o'clock. Engineers from Simcoe are coming down to get a detailed look at how much needs to be replaced, and we want to continue with ammonia system. We're investigating a nuclear cleaner energy solution, which the warden is looking into for us. I feel the municipality and the town need to seriously consider looking at a full retrofit instead of band-aiding a 40-year-old system. That's my outlook. You want to add to it?
I have nothing to add to it, except I agree.
Some pretty big decisions to make.
The Digby Development Agency Industrial Commission.
We approved the budget for 2025-2026. We talked about looking at the full survey for the North Side Industrial Park to make sure we make proper decisions on accessing and utilizing how much space is possible, as we are running out of room in our current industrial park. We're applying for driveway surveys to the existing lots that have already been surveyed. A potential client may be interested in one of the lots. Terry spoke about forest funding Ocean Research Center for energy and how he is on the board and is pushing for Digby to be a staging spot for the title industry. This could be anything from a shipping destination to manufacturing spot for title companies. And we discussed the opportunity for a fire training facility for the fire departments in the industrial park. Additional location options were discussed and are being taken back to the fire departments. Anything you want to add, Pete?
I think that's about it. Yeah, I think we covered
I
it.
pretty much summed it up. I figured.
Okay, the Digby Library Committee, George.
No meeting.
Okay, the Digby Municipal Fire Association, we meet quarterly. We had a meeting since our last meeting. And they're going to send us some letters over some concerns they have. They're worried about budget, and what I have received at that meeting, they're very happy that Bruce is there.
Yep, that's good.
So, but there was nothing really extra to add. Did you have anything, Peter?
No. Yeah, maybe part about the fire and hydrants.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The letters
Yeah.
will be coming. Yeah.
That's all.
All right. The next is the King's Transit Authority. Our meeting is next week. Nothing to really upgrade as of yet.
There's lots of questions going to be about what the province is coming in with.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure.
Threw a wrench in a lot of things.
Yeah, and there is concern over where a lot of stuff comes from. From the states, and what will happen. Same with the fire departments, same thing. So it's sort of scary. The next is the senior safety. George and
Senior safety, the board, again, we were presented with a 2025-2026 budget, and it was passed. Dawn continues, excuse me, her efforts to make seniors aware of the multitude of online and phone scams, online internet and the phone scams that are out there, and asks if you know of anyone who is giving money to someone online who they have never met to reach out to her and she can help. We also made a motion to approve to send a letter again to the province for funding the senior safety position and extending the funding back to 3 years instead of 1 year set out by this government. The board had requested this a year and a half ago. Myself, Will, and Dawn went and spoke with the MLA, but we hadn't heard anything. So back in December, we had asked to send another letter just in response because there was a new election. We knew there were new people. We just wanted to be polite about it. But we still haven't heard anything back. We kind of, as a group, are like, come on. Usually you get at least a letter back saying thank you for thinking of us, keeping the communications open. Well, we haven't even got that back yet. So all we're asking is for the province to keep up with cost of living, an extra $10,000. And, we're worried like they've taken it from a 3-year down to a 1, like what's going on?
How many years had it been since they've had an increase?
7 years. Yeah, that's what she said.
No increase in the allotment.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of concern with the increase that's happening for the MLAs.
Oh yeah, the MLA's gonna be.
Well, not only that, they've come up with some different groups in the province that do pretty much the same thing. They just changed the title.
Yeah.
And it's like we said to Dawn, it's like senior safety works for us. They've even got her going up to Mount St. Vincent to do a presentation. It goes with the person. Everybody knows Dawn, and if your senior group knows her and can deal with her, like, then don't change it. You can't bring, like.
She knows many of them.
She knows a
by
lot,
name and visits
and
them.
they trust her,
Yeah.
and that's what you need. That's why this program down here works for us. I'm not worried about Kings County. If you want to change it up there, change it, but not us. We need to keep what we have and keep it going. So
Doesn't seem how much work Dawn does. There's still those phone
she
scams
pushed,
with
like,
seniors,
yeah.
friendship things, and people giving money. She works endlessly in trying to educate people about this stuff. Just keep that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to get.
Well, a lot of the
you believe what's being told to you.
seniors are lonely, and they look for friendship, and somebody's willing to pay a little attention to them, spend some time on the phone with them.
They can get a lot of money.
I know a lady here, not that long ago, 2 or 3 years ago. She was writing back and forth, and her family tried to tell her. She kept sending them money, and she went out and she bought her wedding dress and everything. She showed me her wedding dress, and she kept sending money, and he was supposed to come for their wedding, of course. Well, of course, he never came, and she was out of her money. All her savings was gone.
I've heard up to 300,000. Some of these people got a lot of money.
So, Wendell said if they ever met me, they never want to ask me for anything. He said, because they never want you to be in part of their life. So, just tell them you're a mean old woman. Now, the next is the Tyview Terrace.
We didn't have a monthly meeting in February because we had our January meeting in the first week of February, so there wasn't any need for another one. We have one this month.
So it'll be one this month, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And nothing new for Tyview? Nothing going on? Okay. Waste check. We had a meeting that I did not get on the computer with.
No, this month's meeting was canceled. The next one is April 8th.
Yeah, but I meant the one I couldn't get on. Yeah, I know. I know the next one's April the 8th. The next is the Western Counties Regional Library.
No, we haven't had a meeting since the last one.
Okay. The Western Regional Enterprise Liaison and Oversight Committee.
No, I don't think our next meeting is until September, I believe. So they don't meet. They only meet quarterly. It might be June or September, something like that. Yeah, it's quarterly one.
The Digby Area Tourism Association.
I have not been notified of any meetings other than the annual general meeting coming up in April. So I did send them off a note, probably the middle of last week, wanting to know if I had dropped off their list or whatever, and I haven't heard back yet.
And they sent a letter asking us who the member was, and I know that Tyler responded because I was going to respond. I thought, well, I'm not going to respond to Tyler. That's
Well, and they acknowledged me at the December meeting,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard a word since. So I did reach out and hopefully we'll hear back from them.
When is their AGM, do you know? In April? Do you know when the AGM is in April?
The AGM is scheduled for April 8th.
Okay. Just being curious. All right, and hopefully everything will work out there. The Digby Harbor Port Association, Matthew?
And Matt,
The Southwest Biosphere Society, we met last week, and the meeting went for 2 hours and 45 minutes. There was a lot of discussion on what's happening in the area and how they're working with groups to help them buy land, property for security, of keeping things safe. They're looking for a new member on the in Caledonia for that group. I'm gonna be sending you a lot of reports because it was an excellent meeting, but I didn't expect it to be as long as it was. And but there was some really good education going on. The things that I didn't know was happening, like I didn't know that we were helping purchase land and things. And I know that they are sending a letter asking us for the, I believe it's $400 again this year. But the money that they're getting to help with the land is another grant. It's not the money we pay. It's been a grant that the government has given for them to do this because they want to be at arm's length. To keep within that percentage of keeping the properties. And then the Western Regional Crown Land Stakeholders Interaction Committee.
Peter has missed the last 4 meetings.
We noticed.
Just as an FYI, the Digby Area Housing Coalition is having its meeting tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that will have to be up there on there too. So I don't.
Or at least the first one I'll be at.
It's the inaugural meeting. All right. Is anyone got anything else that they'd like to bring forward or comment on? Hearing nothing, then and there's no in camera. Would someone like to adjourn the meeting?
Nope, go ahead.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded. Motion carried.